maybe the Blues were showing that offensive strength that they had a little bit during the season and they had in years past. But then we embarked on a 6-game road trip, and it seems like that roller coaster ride is going uphill. As we start off that road trip in Dallas with a 3-0 win against the Stars, and for the first 2 periods, it just seemed like the same old Blues.
And you could still get a lot
Great goaltending, no score. Jake Allen stood on his head as he was in the net for the Blues for the first 2 periods. But then we hit the third, and with 15:04 left, Tarasenko and who else but Vladimir Tarasenko scored to give the Blues a 1-0 lead. His 34th. Later in the period, the Blues get a power play, and Sting was his 20th to put the Blues ahead 2-0. Oshie has an empty netter to secure the win. And this is not surprising for him, as coming into the game, Oshie led the league with 1.36 points per game on the road. I think this is the road trip of the season for the Blues.
I guess that's down to a
The one that defines the season for the Blues.
I don't see Yepis.
This is a road trip at the end of the season that is going to wear the team for points. But I think this season you got to go for first. I think it's this season that you have to get the President's Trophy, because you don't want to run into a shit team that has given you trouble like Chicago. And this year, I know if you get first place, you might be playing the Kings, but the Kings aren't the same old Kings that have been in years past, even though they have come from the 8th place before. Last time I checked, the Kings were in 9th, and Chicago was still up there in 30 with the Blues. So I think you need to get to that first spot, just bypass Chicago, get the momentum going, and not stop it early. And maybe when you get to Chicago in the later rounds, that's where you prove that you're the team that can not beat Chicago, that can take this over and be a good player in the division. But you gotta like how Pitch is working the lines with the goalie, mostly with the lines, switching the lines, like moving Steen around, Bankis and Oshie and Stasny, and also moving Yasin around in Sunday's game against the Stars between 3 different lines.
Off his contract, but you had to go out and get a Goldschmidt. You had to make it look like you were at least making an effort. Because you were down to Carpenter at first base, and it just wasn't happening no more. And and the shift kind of changes the whole thing for the left-handers too. So you never know, Carpenter with the shift not being on, you could see him get a new spark in Texas. Stuff like that. It's just gonna add more money to you. I kind of think the Cardinals. How they get their teams. You would think that with them being one of the lesser shifting teams in the teams in the league, to know the effects from that, and maybe saying, hey, well, if they don't shift them more, maybe that left-hander is good, and maybe that helps a new ball. Different than St. Louis. Maybe that helps the Corey Davis.
Like I said,
I just rather not have a guy that's not proven and a guy that's fallen off in the last few years. That's how the teams. I'd rather not have them and have a Trevor Story or have a Kyle Schwarber. So I just don't understand why you have a Jorge Soler. Wouldn't make it. I'm down to just 1 hour pool host, just for nostalgia. I mean, that's the last thing. That's the only thing that can excite me at this point. Because the guy took it all away from me. I'm excited that baseball's back. But anyways, I had that funny feeling. I said it multiple times in the podcast. I think I skipped a couple podcasts because I didn't want to talk about it. Hey, come here, because and then it kept creeping on that day, so I felt like I had to talk about it. And we're going to do this. And I wish that my funny feelings like that would come in on the card, but I just said, well, this is going to be the year. This is the year they have to, right? This is the year they have to go get somebody. They have a chance. They have a chance to run away with this and put a quality team on the field. I just think if you ran away and then you're resting guys down the stretch that need the rest there, now is your Russian Story or Schwarber or whoever, somebody other than Corey goddamn Dickerson. And then you can see when the rosters expand, where you can get out of a Yepis or Brendan Donovan, or Nolan Gorman down the stretch to maybe make a roster moves like you did last year when you had Yepis on the bench for the one-game playoff. But now you have to do this in spring training because you have open spots on this roster. And I'm saying, and I said the Pujols thing was citing me out of nostalgia, and that's
and also
right handed batter that can't.
Look at what Hitch is doing.
Pujols that he used to be. It's going to be fun to see. That's about it.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the sports blog on the Greater
Maybe
STL
playing
Sports Network.
a little over a third of the games. That's the most. Unless maybe a Goldschmidt gets injured. And you could maybe see him get a little closer to the game. And that probably maybe will, with pitch hitting and all that. I mean, but with the DH, you're not going to see much of that.
Hello and welcome to the Greater STL.
So like maybe half the games the
highest.
highest.
SG4L Media Network. Robert Bowles here with you.
He kind of be your glorified 25th man or 26th man at that point.
SG4L MN1. You can find us on Instagram at GreaterStl.
But if you were going to do that in the first place, wouldn't you try to go out and get somebody? Because this pool is not going to cost you a bunch of money. $12 million a year, blue man, like done.
Hello and welcome to the Greater STL Sports Podcast.
You know, it's fun to see him, Yachty,
Media Network. Robert Bowles here with you.
And I go out in the sunset together. You know, I mean, whatever, great. Nostalgia.
SG4L.
It doesn't help you win baseball games.
You can find us on Instagram at GreaterStl.
And maybe a little bit of nostalgia does help you get to that
else.
point where you're winning baseball games.
iHeart, YouTube, Facebook, Google Podcasts, Apple, anywhere you can find
But really,
podcasts.
how many?
Videos going up on YouTube.
1, 2,
and
3 here, maybe at the beginning of the season, or maybe at the end of the season when you're fighting for a play. Now you're going to have to fight for a playoff spot because you didn't go out and get nobody. Then maybe down there, when you see Pujols and Wainwright fighting for it, then maybe it brings a little more nostalgia in them that way too. But you should never have to be at that point. One move would have pitched you 10 times the rest of a quality to
STL Sports Podcast on the all-new SG4L
because if you love this guy, new bar guy, then he's your fourth guy that can run out there and spell everybody. And you got Sosa who can pretty much go out there and spell everybody, but
you can find us on Instagram at GreaterStl. And you can find us anywhere else.
Goldschmidt, and
iHeart,
if you need to. Hey,
Facebook,
throw Yachty over there first couple games. Get him out from behind the plate. Give him
anywhere you can find podcasts,
extra rest.
Videos going up on YouTube and Spotify and Facebook every time we do a podcast.
Just one guy.
Find all that at GreaterStl Sports
Podcast. At this point, I should have been begging for Trevor's story, but I wasn't begging for Carlos Correa. I wasn't begging for Corey Seager.
Fun time, and
I wasn't really begging for Trevor's story. Just something to quality, something to name.
If you're in St. Louis, you know, the hockey team going to the playoffs, you ain't got much else to root for. I mean, you can root for the lost 2 team, whenever they play. And, you know, I'm not the biggest spring training guy. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing if you watch it and do all that. And, you know, whatever you do, if you enjoy, you enjoy it. I'm watching the games. There's no doubt about it. When it's on, I'm seeing what's on. I'm paying attention. But it's crazy how some people like take spring training games and like take a 3-0 record in spring training and say, "Oh, look at the Cardinals already. Look how great Newbar's doing. Look at the stats that Kistner's putting up." It's spring training. I mean, this has happened before. We've had people with that batted 100 in spring training that have gone and hit 30 home run seasons. I'm pretty sure Matt Carpenter was in one of those spring training slumps one year. Maybe it was Holiday. Who cares? And I would like. I just get mad that I see every day. Welcome to the football show on the Greater STL Sports Network. Robert Bowles here with you. Sports Network.
Welcome to the football show on the GreaterStl Sports Network. Robert Bowlesby here with you. You can tweet me at rbowlesbyjr. You can tweet the GreaterStl Sports Network at GreaterStlSN. A lot of looks with all the injuries to the wide receivers on this team. Alright, that's going to do it. I'm Robert Bowlesby, and this is the football show on the GreaterStl Sports Network.